Standing in the center of a crowded room, listening to the person who once swore to love you forever mock your very existence, is a specific kind of pain. But as I stood there in my worn suit listening to her laughter echo off the polished walls, I knew something she did not. Before the night ended, a single truth would shatter her pride and leave everyone in that hall looking at us with completely transformed eyes. If you believe that quiet dignity will always outlast loud arrogance, this story is for you. My name is Nathan Hayes, and 25 years after graduating, I walked into a high-end hotel ballroom in Dallas expecting a simple night of catching up. Instead, within 10 minutes of arriving, my ex-wife Julianne decided to make me the punchline of her joke. She sneered that I looked as though I had just stepped off a dirty job site, inviting the nearby crowd to laugh along. Standing beside her was her new fiancé, a slick man named Julian who quietly measured me up with condescending eyes. I kept my composure because experience had taught me that reacting to cruelty only gives it power. Julianne and I had shared 14 years of marriage, building a life together while raising our bright daughter, Chloe. I worked endlessly in residential construction, taking every extra shift possible to provide a secure future and support Julianne as she pursued her own dreams. But as the years went on, she became bitter, ultimately having an affair and abandoning our family, leaving me to pick up the broken pieces without ever begging her to stay. In the painful years that followed her departure, I focused entirely on rebuilding my life through honest work and silent perseverance. My small contracting business gradually transformed into a major development company, allowing me to fund community projects and set up trade scholarships for local youth. I never spoke about these achievements publicly, because my late father taught me that true strength never needs to shout. During this time, I met Clara, a compassionate woman whose steady presence restored my faith in love and whose sharp mind saw my true worth. At the reunion event, Julianne made a grand show of introducing Julian as a high-flying venture capitalist, flashing a heavy diamond ring to anyone who would look. Shortly after Clara joined me, she shook hands with Julian, and I noticed a subtle shift in her expression. Clara volunteered with a legal aid network that helped women recover from financial scams, and she instantly recognized Julian from an ongoing investigation involving a man who targeted vulnerable divorced women with fake investment opportunities. Clara stayed calm and carefully noted every detail. The mood shifted dramatically when the event host stepped onto the main stage to thank the person who had secretly funded the entire evening. To my discomfort, she called my name, revealing that I had paid for every detail while quietly financing the local youth center and funding dozens of scholarships through a foundation in my father's honor. The entire room erupted into enthusiastic applause as Julianne stood completely frozen, and Julian stared at me in disbelief. The man they had spent the evening ridiculing was the sole benefactor of the night. The morning after the reunion, Clara immediately contacted her investigative contacts, sharing details about Julian that matched 2 active multi-state fraud cases. Law enforcement moved quickly, linking Julian to several women across different counties who had been swindled out of their savings shortly after painful divorces. Within days, federal agents arrested him, uncovering a trail of false identities, hidden bank accounts, stolen assets, and another unsuspecting woman in a neighboring state who believed she was about to marry him. When Julianne called me in a rage, she blamed Clara for destroying her happiness out of pure malice. I remained calm on the phone, knowing her anger was just a wall hiding immense shame and pain. 2 days later, local authorities presented Julianne with overwhelming evidence, including forged financial documents, text threads, and bank transfers that proved her entire new life was built on an elaborate lie. She realized then that the man she thought was her savior was actually a calculated predator. She called me a second time, her voice cracking with heavy sobs as she offered a tearful apology for her cruel words and misplaced blame. She confessed that her desperate desire to appear successful had blinded her to obvious red flags, causing her to lose everything. I reassured her that she was not stupid, just targeted by a professional liar who specialized in emotional manipulation. Over the following weeks, she met Clara to apologize in person, replacing her initial resentment with genuine remorse and humility. Later that month, Julianne asked to meet Chloe and me for lunch, where she openly admitted her regret over abandoning the stable, honest life we had once shared in pursuit of hollow status. We both acknowledged that the past could not be changed, but we chose to move forward without carrying bitterness. Soon after, Chloe excitedly announced she had been awarded a prestige scholarship from the Hayes Memorial Fund, Completely unaware that I was the founder, I had intentionally removed myself from the selection board, so she would earn it purely through her own talent. Watching my daughter celebrate her genuine achievement reminded me that true legacy is not found in public praise or accumulated wealth, but in empowering others to build their own success. Looking back, that reunion night did not redefine who I was, because my real victory had taken place during years of quiet labor, honest relationships, and fatherhood. True value comes from integrity, and success built on humility and patience will always endure long after superficial appearances crumble away into nothing.